right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Eastern Marshlands and Evening with Comrades. Tonight we have with us Theo,
Hello.
Senna,
Hello.
and someone new that's always in the chat, Königsmark.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah.
So, our first order of business is Königsmark's topic, I suppose, which is Bolivia.
Well, a lot has happened in Bolivia since the last evening with comrades. That is, there has been a coup. The President Evo Morales fled the country, and now there is a active organization of counter-coup forces ongoing. So, what has happened? That there have been elections scheduled for Evo Morales to be elected president once again. I believe this would be his either fourth or fifth time. I am not sure. And there has been a lot of instability, lot of it like purposefully created, and it has escalated by the army basically demanding him to step down. So he fled the capital first to El Alto, and now he's safely in exile with his brothers in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
He has been given asylum by the Mexican government, as is the Mexican policy of anti-counter interference. Basically, they try to be neutral and help everyone for a long time. And so now there is marches and violence ongoing. The fact from the coup seems to be these like ultra-Christian right-wing anti-indigenous kind of like Christian nationalist would be like the best.
Don't they have like some continuity to like the former military junta?
That's the they might have. I'm not sure, but they appear to be like new. They have continuity to this movement, which is the regionalist movement, which has
that's definitely that is.
Yeah, that's like the main thing. And they also seem to be like heavily anti-indigenous. One of the like things that have been seen recently has been like burning of what Morales did among other things. Yeah, the Ripala. Morales made those like two flags, the native flag and the Bolivian flag, the tricolor. And what have been seen a lot is this is kind of like what have we seen in like the recent days. It appears to be kind of like a race war kind of scenario, because you see the counter-coup forces using almost exclusively the native flag, while the police is now using a lot, mainly the tricolor. There have been videos of them like cutting the native flag from their clothes and burning it. The right-wing opposition, when they entered the Congress building, they have declared that God have returned to the palace, and they have had tweets recently that they have recently deleted about exterminating the satanic natives on their Twitter feed, which is something completely normal, nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
The coup has been spearheaded by which is the Oslo Freedom Forum, which is a CIA basically cover. They try to mess with like Syria. They did the thing. They also focus heavily on Russia with less success.
Mm-hmm.
And you can read this all on like the Grey Zone, which is not a very good source when it comes to like outside of being anti-American, but they are very good at being anti-American basically. They have mapped this all. Yeah, the Organization of American States, which is like a U.S. umbrella for cooperation in like Americas, pushing this shit. The military leader who has been the spearhead of the coup, basically the decisive force, has been like discovered, or like it is now known that he has been the leader of the anti-drugs, the anti-coca growers campaign that originally started the Morales' ascendancy to power and has been trained by the like this thing that has been set up in the 50s during the Dirty War. That was the whole Operation Condor and the happenings in Argentina and Uruguay that, by the way, gave rise to, for example, the Tupamaros, which was an urban guerrilla movement that was recalled to the Incas in their name and other ideologies. So, yeah, there have a heavy connection to like previous years' activity, and as a reaction to the coup, there's been violence. There's been like heavy mobilization of the movements. The army have been attempting to control more and more of government buildings. They tried to shut down and, I believe, in one place succeeded, Union radio stations, and they have heavily tried to basically fortify the cities in the fear, which I think is justified, that the social movements will descend from the countryside onto the cities and basically just overwhelm everything. There have been, as of now, I believe almost like not even like 3 hours ago, there have been clashes, I believe, somewhere close to Cochabamba, which has resulted in at least 4 deaths, and the government has tried to basically round up and detain somewhere every doctor that has been in, and like other government agents that have been sent to Bolivia from Cuba as part of their alphabetization and healthcare program.
Yeah,
they have also
Cuba does that a lot.
Yeah, they have also reneged on the recognition of the Cuban and Venezuelan governments, the self-proclaimed presidency. In return to that, there has been alternative presidency declared, which is the MRS party, the Morales party, the movement and socialismo, the movement towards socialism, have held their own like alternative congress because they were kicked out of the normal congress by the police and military, where they proclaimed the leader of the congress the new interim president, as opposed to the president that has been proclaimed by like almost like not even half. It's like because the movement for socialism has like 60 to 70% to like 75% of the entire seats, like the Senate and Congress combined. They have been going strong since like 2000s basically, and so they have proclaimed their own president from the leader of their party basically, now that Morales is tweeting from Mexico, and they have called to resist the coup and overthrow the self-proclaimed government, the pronounced government, which is a term like pronunciamiento. It is a term from like South American coups, which is like the pronunciamiento is basically the ideal coup, which is just you go in and you declare that there has been a coup and then nothing happens. But it seems this will not go that way because there have been like a heavy mobilization of the social movements.
Yeah.
This one thing that have actually allowed this to like go to this place has been before the election the declared neutrality of certain unions, because they decided that the movement as a whole is more important than Morales as a person. So they said no. So they said that they don't care if he is elected or not, which is an interesting twist, I guess. So I don't know if anyone has any question, or are there any questions in the chat?
You talked about the coca stuff. Could you give some background on that?
Coca growing has been the pillar of Bolivian economy since the collapse of the crisis in the 70s and the collapse of the mining, really, like the copper and such, copper and tin mining, and at one point it was like a big part of the economy, and then that is actually Evo Morales' background. He was the leader of the Cocaleros, the association of coca growers. That is his like origin.
Yeah.
That was the most powerful agrarian movement.
Isn't it, well, coca, I think we should make the distinction that coca is not cocaine.
Yes, it is a you chew the leaves and then it's like coffee but more, and it is really important in the Andes both for the like the local culture and also because it's a stimulant. It allows you to work in the big heights basically. So everyone like chews it, and the Americans have tried really hard to go after it in as part of their like war on drugs, which have caused Morales to came into power because the movement against coca growing have crippled the economy and also made the villagers really angry, like the campesinos, the peasants, basically.
Right, because cocaine is just one thing you can make from coca.
Yes.
It's like how the Americans, mostly the Americans, tried to stop like poppy farming in parts of Central Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because, poppy. What can you make from poppy? Opium. But what else can you make out of poppies?
A lot of good stuff.
Opiates.
Yeah. Not just no.
Okay.
Seeds on bread, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Månflässel. Like pretty big cultural food here. So
Yeah, same here.
when
Like
the
sweet.
Americans in the 80s were like, right, you gotta stop growing poppies. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Get out of my yard.
You can get out of my yard. Isn't it ironic that the Americans are the people that guard the poppy fields in fucking Afghanistan?
It makes sense. You have to make money somehow.
Yeah.
The British taught them how.
Hiya. I'm sorry, my cat just started playing around with something, and she found a cork from a bottle.
Oh, no, but that's kind of just Austria throughout the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Americans being like, "Hey, do this." It's like, fuck off. We're not your allies.
Yeah, fuck off. Like, because Americans think they own the fucking world.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do.
The one thing to put into perspective, the coca fields when they were at its height in the late 90s, $300 to $500 million was the produce of the coca fields in Bolivia. It was a big segment of the economy. 1,287,000 tons of coca in the year 1990.
Yeah, coca's been used for fucking millennia there.
Yes.
It's been used since before European interaction. What was the fucking major empire that was there?
Incas.
Yeah, the Incas.
Yeah, the Incas.
They used it. It's not like
Yes.
it's some new thing to use coca. It's
And this,
tradition.
Well, especially since
coffee
you're-
doesn't go that up. You
Yeah.
need some stimulant.
if you like build cities and shit in that sort of height, you need
Need us something.
just like the people in Mesopotamia and in like Egypt and shit needed beer in order to be able to like build such large cities because the distilling process killed germs. We know that, for example.
Right.
Beer was healthier to drink than just straight river water half the time.
Right.
Which is why, which is a thing almost everywhere in the world. Alcoholic
Yes.
beverages.
Yeah, there's that anthropological theory that a lot of stuff that happened with
Yeah.
agriculture comes from beer.
Yeah.
And then the movement from feudalism into like enlightenment and then capitalism was basically kind of parallel with the swapping of alcoholic to non-alcoholic beverages. So like basically going from wine to coffee or in like Western Europe.
Can we just talk about how stupid of an idea it was to drink milk for millennia before we knew how to pasteurize things?
Yeah.
But we kept drinking it. Like, why?
It tastes good, damn it.
Yes, it tastes good.
No, you see, I am a connoisseur of classic cow milk. I only drink it straight from the udder.
See, no, the reason is it tastes good.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
It's
Oh no.
the thing in
yeah.
like the
I'm
rural South.
scared.
Yeah, like South Carolina and shit.
like it tastes good. So we did it. We just drank it a lot.
Ha! What do you mean I have horrible stomach pains and bowel parasites? What does that have to do with anything? It
They-
tastes good.
Yeah, did they know it was coming from the milk, or it was a fucking thing from God? Who knows?
It's a
It's like-
coincidence. It happens every time I drink milk.
It's like with vaping.
Yeah.
Vaping really cheap cartridges might be bad and might literally like make your lungs look like a construction yard, but it tastes good. So you take the risk.
Yeah, people try drugs because it feels good. People drink even if they're like they drink too much because it feels good.
Yes.
People don't give a shit. Animals don't give a shit. Like
People will,
other animals do the same thing.
even without like it being a drug, people will just do absolutely stupid stuff for no reason other than it's
It feels good.
funny.
It's funny. It feels good.
Yeah,
It's a funny moment.
like, okay, which brings me to another point is how fucking stupid, like, the way we socially treat drugs
Yeah.
Yes.
or just like medication in general as well.
Yeah.
It's like I like need my fucking meds in order to be able to think and not have like memory issues,
Right.
which, well, see, in the eyes of some people that makes me less than human because I
Yeah.
don't have some of these abilities that they prize.
That they view as a benchmark
Yep.
for being okay.
Not that it makes any sense whatsoever, but yeah.
Right. Exactly. But is there anything special that's been happening in either in Bolivia or in countries surrounding it right now, Königsmark?
Yes, there has been like the mobilization of the natives against the coup. There have been violent clashes. And interesting thing that have happened in response to this in Chile has been a mobilization of the natives there in like northwest Argentina as well. The mobilization of like natives.
Right.
So there seems to be
Speaking-
sorry, Dorothy. Go on.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chile, something that has been started to utilize in Hong Kong before that, but is now being heavily utilized in fucking Chile. Sen and I had a conversation about this earlier.
Lasers against
The lasers.
like,
Point.
Yes, lasers. I actually just bought a laser pointer. I'm waiting for it to come in the mail now. So that's exciting.
my friend has a big laser that can burn trash cans.
Yeah, it's
Fucking.
Oh my God.
Lasers will be the riot weapons of the future.
the Hong Kongers have taught us everything.
Like, lasers have all the properties because they're easily concealable. Like, you could not effectively ban them in the
Right.
same way you could ban most weapons. It's just not feasible. You can't, like, do it.
I mean, you can't ban any weapons really when you think about it.
Yeah, but, like, they're so
Especially.
ubiquitous. It's like banning forks. Like,
Yeah,
unenforceable.
it's like it's not really feasible. It's not really possible. It's not enforceable. I mean, sure, you could make it a crime to use it in a certain way, but you can't stop them from.
Who's that
being-
gonna stop?
Yeah, no one. If they're gonna use it, they're gonna use it. But another thing that we need to learn from Hong Kong is the power of those athletic water bottles. The ones with the spray top on them.
Oh, yeah.
that you can just spray on tear gas, pick it up with a wet rag, and throw it that fucker back. Like, it's so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yes.
But what happened in Chile with it again, or Bolivia, whichever one, with the laser pointers?
So they started using it against like police vans and whatnot.
Mhm.
They set a police car, like a police van, on fire with Molotov. And this is the coolest part: police helicopters were up in the air. They pointed laser pointers at them, and they almost shot it down because they blinded the pilot so that he almost crashed into a building. He had to back off.
The power of a laser pointer is really more than one man
Not
should
just that.
have.
Not just laser pointer. See, focused lasers are becoming increasingly more affordable, right? The parts are becoming more ubiquitous, right?
Right.
Oh yeah,
The simple
like
parts.
I remember when I was like a really little kid, my dad, who works at like some company thing, at least he did at the time, he had like a laser pointer, and I was like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever, because I was like a 5-year-old or something, and he's like, yeah, this cost me like $200, and nowadays I literally just ordered a similar laser pointer online for $20.
Now, think about it this way. That scales. The US just introduced a weapon system which is there to shoot down mostly drones, but it can shoot down all aircraft, which is a giant laser. Uses a shit ton of power and everything. But you hit any aircraft with that thing, it just goes down.
It fucker's going
Like
down.
if you hit it in a vital part, it just goes down. And like you just have to aim it and then short burst fire. Like
In real life, the laser is literally light. It goes at the speed of fucking light.
yeah.
It's not a bullet.
so-
You don't have to aim forward.
Yeah, you just have to fucking
Point at it.
point, click. Like you can
It's-
shoot down supersonic
yeah.
jets with that thing.
You can't miss.
Now- Think about it this way. These things are becoming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I predict that within the next 10, 15 years, we are going to have insurgents fighting against modern air forces with makeshift laser weaponry.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And
infantry is not really that useful against,
it'll
like,
be
any
epic.
other type of vehicle. Useful against, like, any type of ground-based vehicle. But helicopters will become obsolescent.
Yeah. Planes
that's a
will
huge
become
thing.
more obsolescent.
Until they found a way to like shield themselves, I guess. Which will be hard. But
Will
it
cost
could
them a lot of
be
money.
doable. Yes,
Yeah.
that's another thing. And then
Which-
probably it will interfere with the ability, with the things that are making them able to like dodge like regular missiles, basically.
Not
So
just
it's a-
that.
It will be like either or.
Yeah, not just that, but anything that shields light will fuck with the radar. You don't want an impaired radar capability in a fighter, just saying.
Not to mention, like, you can also, this is also something we talked about, Hunbutts, we can, like a lot of times people, especially when they're doing work at night, they'll use like night vision goggles.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, you point a laser at those people and it'll fuck their shit right up.
They're blind.
Yeah,
You literally blind them.
that is something like.
Then again, even in broad daylight, if you point a laser and you hit someone in the eye, you can totally blind them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can cause permanent damage by doing that.
the police in Chile, or rather the army special forces that are with the police, that's against international law, by the way. But they were like with the police, beating people up, and it was in the middle of the night. They were wearing nods, night vision goggles. Laser pointer at them, like you can see them recoil, like fucking. Because that happens to you, that's like staring directly into the sun. They're fucking blinded for
Mhm.
like a few moments. It like physically hurts.
What the hell? Oh, shut up, phone. So sorry about that.
Yeah, it's
So,
ooh,
yeah.
ooh, put Pac-Man's in the chat.
Oh! The dude!
Yes.
Is he gonna join? Prager Bussy in the chat. I would recommend the 4th episode of a podcast called It Could Happen Here. Might check it out. I'm not really sure what that is, to be
You
honest.
need to give some more context.
Yeah.
Also, another thing with lasers, if you have a laser big enough, you can set things on fire.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yes.
Funny moment.
Like my friend has like laser that's like from the US. That was a few years ago. That was like, it cost like few thousand crowns, so not a lot, and it could like lit trash cans on fire. Imagine like what the
Just for
technology.
reference, a crown is basically nothing. A crown is, I think, like how much?
€1 is 25 crowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like...
So $500 or something, roughly.
Yeah.
What we're talking about there, which in the grand scheme of things is nothing. But no, huge lasers with a
Big
magic
laser.
decades in science. But the thing is, lasers against armor are very good. If you have a strong enough laser, you can point it at armor. If you can point it at it long enough, you'll go through eventually, no matter how thick that armor is.
Right.
I mean, there are ways of, like, changing that. For example, reflective coating will make lasers not work as well. But you can't coat everything reflectively because wear and tear, and it'll make it very heavy. But I digress. That's the sort of future warfare which I found very interesting.
Yeah.
But I
Not even
think
laser
that...
pointers, but just a flashlight will do.
Oh, to blind someone, absolutely.
You get one of those fucking, like, military flashlights they sell on TV that are, like, so fucking high power that it lights up a whole forest. You go around a corner, you put it in someone's eyes, they're blind. They're gone.
Yeah, they don't even know where nods. They're fucking... See, this is the sort of thing that will define, like, riots. and
Future insurgency in general.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
we can go on a tangent until Pac-Man gets here, so I'll put his thing on the screen.
electronic warfare will become a prevalent thing. Like, it
absolutely.
has hit the insurrection. It has
Hong
been a
Kong
thing since the
understood
90s.
it.
But now we have things that make it, well, viable to just use all of these, like, little gadgets that we have. Gadgets that you can use for everything. So normal and ubiquitous, you can't ban them. Like, you can't ban flashlights.
Yeah,
It's like...
you just can't. It's impossible.
Yeah. There are some things you cannot regulate or ban properly. You can try as you might, but
It's not
That's-
really
that's-
gonna work.
yeah, those are regulate. Like, firearms you can regulate, because that's a very specific thing. You know what you can't regulate? Fucking sticks. Woods everywhere. Shit's fucking...
Everyday items.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, improvised weaponry will become very, very, very useful.
Also, just to wait when the riot police is out, and then if you have the balls, take their stuff from their like buildings.
Oh yeah.
That's another option. Just storm, bait them, and then storm their buildings. If you want to like go full on and take their stuff.
I saw like fucking discussion about this a while ago. You know, like tin cans that you like keep like refrigerated food in, right?
Yeah.
If you had some light machine tools, which are pretty easy to find and pretty cheap, you get your hands on pyrotechnics and whatever else you want. You can build small-scale artillery shells. Not as effective as full-on brass cone things, but
Yeah.
like you get your hands on primers. You get a trash can with a little like pin in the bottom. You have yourself a makeshift mortar.
Now one thing that we have to remember about all of this discussion Eastern Marshlands does not advocate the use of violence.
No, we're just
yeah, we
explaining how it works.
This is all conceptual. It's all conceptual.
advocate violence. We just advocate learning about improvised weaponry for science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this has actually happened. Like
The thing is,
This is news. This is news. This is journalism.
Yeah, yeah. And this will happen regardless of what we say on this show.
Yeah, we're not that influential, but
Yeah. We are not going to start any uprisings in the future.
Before
See-
Pac-Man gets here, I want to remind everybody that you can send us a donation. Let's see.
tell us about this donation.
Comrade John donated Australian dollars of 20 Australian dollars to the cause. You will get your name here, and you'll get a message to us in the chat. It buys TK food, and it buys us things to do to use for stream.
If he keeps getting himself hurt, probably his medical bills.
Yeah, he got hurt this time. So, well, no, he's,
I mean,
he's
he
in
lives
Australia.
so
See, no,
medical
if
bills.
I got hurt, it would be my medical bills. But
Yeah.
TK doesn't have that problem because he doesn't live in a shit-fuck third world country that masquerades as a first world one.
You live in the UK? Sorry, I had to.
No, the UK is like a second world. They're developing.
Yeah.
They are
they're-
getting there.
Yeah, the UK still has like some vague semblance.
They
of
have
human
have an
rights.
NHS. We don't have that.
Yeah,
How-
the US has like
Nothing.
dirt and money. That's it.
You know what I realize,
What?
which scares me a little? How have we come full circle again, and the Germans are now the center of civilization again?
Because we didn't stamp it out enough. I don't know. I
And again, we're seeing a lot of parallels to the things that led up to the last big happenings
I mean, we also
from last century.
we also see a lot of the stuff that showed the end of the Soviet Union in America.
Oh yeah,
We're seeing some shit that's like the 80s in the Soviet Union right now, as well as parallels to a certain
all we need is Donald
decade
Trump
in-
to start endorsing Pizza Hut. Then we'll really be full circle.
Wait, no, he's gonna endorse Chick-fil-A like Kanye West did.
Ah yes,
Yes.
Chick-fil-A is gonna come out with pizza because they want to compete with Pizza Hut. I predict it.
The first
It's totally
chicken
gonna
pizza.
happen,
The
guys.
first chicken pizza.
God, fried chicken on pizza sounds disgusting.
It's so American.
Yeah.
I know it is. It's perfectly American. That's why I believe it'll happen. But I don't want to see it.
Now, you see, we have the good version of shit like that. Shit like kebab pizza.
What?
That shit's good.
All right.
That has not yet reached here.
All right. We're just gonna be like on some tangent until Peter gets here. He's on his way.
Yeah, what I was talking about earlier, improvised mortars, that's a thing in Syria. They call them hell cannons.
Only bro in the chat. American balkanization when? Hopefully, like, as soon as fucking possible. I hate this country.
Yeah, but then you are going to end up with the...
Oh, wait, no!
What is the...
No, I'm gonna have to deal with the fucking neo-Confederates. No, please, God.
Yeah, you're going to end up with what is basically Kosovo of America.
Oh,
Well,
God.
see, then you have to just go the extra mile and recreate Sherman's March to the Sea.
I'm gonna be the one that gets marched!
You're gonna be on the wrong side of the war crimes.
I live. Yeah, I'm at the worst of the crimes. I live in Alabama. I'm gonna get. Wait, no, he went through.
A lot of people in the South went to join the Union.
Wait, no. He went through Georgia. That's fine. I don't care. Those people are not human. It's fine. Cool. Fuck off.
Jesus Christ, sit down.
Fuck Georgia.
God.
Fuck Atlanta. Birmingham supremacy. Birmingham
The Birmingham
supremacy.
Soviet.
The Birmingham Soviet. The Birmingham of tomorrow will be the Birmingham of the commune. No, okay. When I say that about Georgia, I've been to Georgia like 4 times. In a server that Königsmark and I are both in, we have jokes like this about the Danes as well, because Danes.
Denmark. See, I have this theory. If you want to become a great empire, you have to go beat up the Danes.
Think about their language,
See,
though.
look at the history. Look at history. Who beat up the... First the Polish beat up the Danes before they made their little Eastern European sort of super state in the fucking 1200s. Right? Then the Swedes beat up the Danes when they were becoming their
Kalmar.
little... Yeah, the little empire. And then the Germans beat up Denmark before they formed the German Empire.
Well,
See-
exception to the rule. The first time that the Soviets tried, they failed. In the 20s.
See, I have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I have a plan. See, we take over any place in the world, then we go invade Denmark. That's how we would win.
Smart.
Yeah.
The Danes are the benchmark for major empire.
When did Americans defeat the Danes?
See, they kind of did that. Mexico is like American Denmark, isn't it?
No.
What?
Canada is.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Charlotte in the chat moved to the best state. I'm moving somewhere else, out of this fucking terrible country as soon as possible. But Pac-Man's here.
same.
So now the
Hello.
tangent session over. So
I would say that it's just begun.
it has just begun, but now it's about anime. So
Yeah, we were
Pac-Man,
talking
how you
about
been doing?
electronic warfare.
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Posada's Pac-Man is now officially below the poverty line.
Oh God! Woo! Terrible
My,
times.
My welfare claim got rejected for some reason, and because it's a Saturday, the call center for the government office doesn't work Saturdays, which means they're sending me a letter, which of course Australia Post means I won't get it till 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, and your wife
So,
put the kids. Yep.
Yeah, and even better, I am now in debt. I owe money on my phone bill, and so if I don't get a welfare check soon, I'm gonna be unable to receive text messages or make any calls to,
Okay. Now again. Now again. Instead of buying my medical bills, because I'm not sick this time, and we don't have to pay for TKs, maybe you should donate to pay for Posada's Pac-Man, its ability to be online. So, once again, I will shill for donations, because this time, the imaginary comrade John has donated 89 Australian dollars to the cause.
Yeah.
that would actually pay my mobile phone bill.
Alright, fellas, we
I
support the cause
take
of
from
Posada's
EML's
Pac-Man having internet.
No, I've already paid my internet bill. I'll have to pay something else.
Alright, now, what's the next shit, though, is, next is, let's talk
Central
about
European
those
politics?
Central European politics. Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
anything about that.
Yeah, but see, we have an Austrian woman and a Czech guy over here, so that's something we can talk about. I read a funny article the other day that over the past 2 months, 17 high-ranking party members of the FPÖ were arrested for doing the Hitler salute in public again.
Gamer moment.
They really can't stop themselves, can they? They just can't help it.
One of them has been convicted of this specific crime 7 times.
How?
Oh my god.
You know, you'd think after the fucking 6th time, you'd remember, maybe I shouldn't do this when, like, fucking cameras are around. No, of course you don't fucking...
By the way, actualization, at least 5 people killed in Cochabamba in Bolivia. Now
Oh,
they have
great.
updated the numbers, which is still quite not that much compared to like Chile and like everywhere else. where it's happening.
Yeah, but it's
But
most
still.
definitely gonna get worse.
Yeah, it's only the first week.
Yeah.
Whew. I mean, fucking, mass deportations are going on across Europe. Like refugees are getting sent back to Syria right now,
Mm.
which is a fucking disgrace. Let's be real here.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like, the war in Syria just restarted, basically.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Turkey.
Wait. Are there any new Turkish war crimes?
I can check. I'm on the live map right now. Let's see.
All right. And then we can get back to our really powerful European politic bullshit.
I mean, it's not Central European, but I'm looking at Facebook right now, and there's a big sign being held up by some Chileans, and the sign says, and I quote, "Chile will be the tomb of neoliberalism." So that's heartening.
Apparently, the Russians and Assad got into a skirmish with the Turks near Saluk.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
It's
Boy.
happening, boys. It's happening. All right, but back to Central Europe, I
Oh.
guess. Ooh.
The Turks released a whole bunch of fucking ISIS prisoners in one of the camps that they control.
Woo! Oh God.
Oh, this just gets better and better.
What was that we said last time about how Turkey does what now? What do they do, guys?
The US was going into fucking Idlib to take out
Baghdadi.
Baghdadi. The Turks shot at their helicopters.
So,
What
by
an
this,
ally.
what does Turkey do, guys? Who do they support? Jihadists. All right, but back to Central Europe, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it is related to Central Europe because doesn't this mean the Sparts were right? The Italians were right. Oh God, we're all fucked now.
No, but please no. Anyway. Yeah. So Italy's on fire still because the fascists.
Because we didn't stamp it out there.
Oh yeah.
Because Italy surrendered.
Yeah.
See, not surrendering has probably done the most to eventually redeem the Germans, ironically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went full in.
See, this is what sets me off.
Oh, there's also been an earthquake in South Italy.
Oh.
Magnitude 4.6, so if I'm not mistaken, not too crazy, but you know.
Where?
There's reports of it around Barcelona.
There's a volcano near there.
Oh God.
Yes, there is, actually, now that you mention it. This just got a lot scarier. This was 22 days ago, apparently, so... Oh, wait, what? There's a report that's from 8 days ago as well? From... Oh, God. 0 kilometers west of Villa Valleonga? I'm probably butchering that horribly. Yeah, that name... That confuses me. The letters kind of blend together. I don't know. I may have dyslexia. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, there's the volcano near there.
Yes.
No.
I was waiting for the fucking big volcano to go off again. Pompeii 2.
No. But this is what gets me about, like, world history. Pretty much every big empire committed some horrific crime in its history, right?
Yes.
Can you think of anyone else other than the Germans that sit there and accept, shit, man, we fucked up?
No one. No one does that.
Oh, another thing going on in Italy, because that seems vaguely relevant. 2 men were arrested because they planned to blow up the mosque in Colleval d'Elsa, Siena. Both were members of a
all right.
fascist organization named MIS. A group emerged in 2004 and founded by an exponent of an old fascist party, Movimento Sociale Italiano.
I know those people.
Oh God!
So, these people briefly occupied a town hall in South Tyrol and hoisted the Italian flag from there. Thing is, it was already hoisted from there, so they had to put it down and then pull it back up. They wanted to tell
What?
the German-speaking people living there, it's like, this is Italy! And it's like, yeah, we know that, we live here. It's like, get mad so we can shoot you! Because these kinds of Italian fascists think that Germanic people are subhuman. They have a very Roman ideology taken to a sort of ethnological spin.
Ebola?
Yeah.
Where like fucking like the Germans are some like barbarians and we need to be exterminated. Which
Brumbo.
I mean, if you'd asked me 75 years ago, I'd say yeah, but
see, we should balkanize Italy.
Yes.
Yes.
we should balkanize
No.
everywhere.
No,
just for the fun of it.
See, if you Balkanize Italy, that's a good thing because it's returning to the tradition of Italy. It's what they want.
Well,
It's what all the
yeah.
Marxists said was good.
Yeah.
What, like Milan, you've got Venice, you've got...
Yeah, and then you hire mercenaries to kill each other. Just like
Then you've
the
got
olden days.
some fucking rich weirdo in his own little town in Urbino who just sort of, sits on his own
Mm-hmm.
and just builds libraries. Because he
Yeah.
can.
So if anyone's curious about what's going on in Venezuela at the moment, there are blackouts going on, which are quite fun.
Have been going on for months, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, they
That's
continue.
socialism for you.
Ah, yes.
That's socialism for you.
definitely.
Absolutely, no other problem.
Not at all.
To be seen there at all.
Oh yeah, there's
Nothing to do
nothing
with
else going on. It's really just that simple.
By the way, Guaido, who has been absolutely cucked by literally everyone else,
He got
I am
beat the fuck
interim
up!
he
I
got
am the interim prime minister.
he got rushed over by literally the place that they didn't even plan the coup, I believe, for like a long time, and they still got it before him. So he now released like this weird ad, and it looks like absolute garbage.
What was
It's
that
the-
funny thing that happened in Brazil? He got like assaulted by like an Afro-Brazilian.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, what a fucking idiot, man. Fucking comedy.
When you tell Mike Pence you'll have 20% of the military support, but you get like a few dozen people behind you.
Actually, specifically, 32 people. Not 32 officers. Not 32
Hey, get
groups.
off the keyboard! Aya,
32
get off!
people counting military officers and NCOs.
All right. My
Hilarious.
cat stepped on the keyboard, and I'm gonna put this in green room text. It's very relevant. It's just
It's
in
word,
all caps.
The word of the cat is ah. Yeah, because the
God.
world is
It's a
going
pretty great
ah
action.
at the moment.
She has
Um,
some really hard-hitting criticism. I'm proud of her.
Is there like some more epic thing and more like absolutely hilarious shit going on in like Central Europe right now?
Let's see.
Oh wait, Königsmark, the fucking university.
Yeah, some group of students called Students for Climate have occupied the Prague University. Now it's, I believe, 4th or 5th days, and they are like protesting against climate change, and the one of the people in charge of the university is really weird ties with like this one business and the PRC, and they demand
Oh
him
my
that he
god,
step.
are you fucking serious?
No,
Oh my god.
So Königsmark, what is that one group you said that was there though?
among other people, there has been this one group of like I don't know how many people. They call themselves Marxist Alternative.
Wait, where is this exactly?
Prague,
Oh.
Charles University.
We lost Peter.
Bye,
F.
Rip.
He's been destroyed online.
Yeah.
Bye.
But the next thing that'll be pretty fun to see is how the fire is rising. Peter back?
Yes. Oh.
He's back.
He's back.
Sorry.
Alright.
Hey.
So the
What's
fire
going on in Hong Kong lately?
So the fire rises in Hong Kong once again. They've barricaded themselves inside a university and have been shooting police with fucking flaming arrows.
Oh my god. I love it.
That big dick energy, like, for real. Like, you know, I could, like, you know, as long as we've got some really seriously, totally not French opera music being sung, I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, I'm so ready for this. This is so hilarious.
Fucking
Okay, also,
flaming arrows.
Hong Kong is still in a state of recession. Now Xi Jinping has made a statement that the continuous violence and crimes are seriously jeopardizing justice and public safety. Yeah, I sure hope it does! The Wall Street Journal talking about how they've occupied a fucking, like, university. And a 70-year-old man died Thursday because he was hit with a brick during a clash.
Oof.
A 15-year-old boy was put into the hospital because he was hit in the head with a tear gas canister shot that was shot from, like, one of their things. And a 21-year-old protester was shot on Monday. It's escalating.
Yes. Are we also going to mention the article that was linked earlier when we were discussing what to talk about?
Which one?
The 16-year-old
Which one was
who
that?
was gang raped by the police, apparently?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
no. There's been a lot of shit about how Hong Kong police officers have been abusing people, not only in fights but sexually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
like when they get people into their custody and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean, I just sort of, like, I don't really understand, like, the Chinese government really,
Fucked up.
yeah, but you see, the thing is, I don't understand how the Chinese Communist Party can really think that this is going to burn itself out.
It's not going
They
to.
don't.
It's not going away.
It's
know
not.
It's going to.
So, according to BBC, Hong Kong's rule of law has been pushed to the, quote, brink of collapse. So, came with protesters clashing with police on Tuesday. They've barricaded themselves into a campus. So then there's, let's see,
Nothing's going to happen, guys.
nothing's
And
gonna
it's gonna be
happen.
great.
The fire is literally rising. They set fire to a Christmas tree in a shopping mall.
God.
Fuck Santa
love it.
Claus.
Hundreds
Fuck
of
that
people are
Claus
in
traitor.
that university right now, to my understanding. And it's not long until I think the air just in Hong Kong just smells of tear gas.
Yeah.
No, look,
in
guys,
other news of
they're
some
gonna-
really fire rises bullshit, I have a quote from Bashar al-Assad.
Oh boy.
Of all people.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Quote, American billionaire Jeffrey Epstein was killed several weeks ago. They said he had committed suicide in jail. However, he was killed because he knew a lot of vital secrets connected with very important people in the British and American regimes, and possibly in other countries as well, end quote.
Oh my god.
Jeffrey Epstein said it! Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Bashar al-Assad has said the special words.
Oh boy.
The thing
This
is,
is like, this is Trump's election all over again. Like the meme has gone out of control, and we're like, no, stop. It's like the dialectic.
Yes.
Although the dialectic can never move too fast.
Hopefully you saw the video I made, Pac-Man, then. A couple days ago.
I'll have to check. I'll have to check back. But I saw Scotty just sent me a wonderful meme that says police threatened Iraqi protesters with dogs, so they threatened back with a lion.
Duh.
Oh yes. I
The
saw
fire
video of
is
that. This guy
fucking
straight up brought a fucking
rising.
lion.
The fire is rising.
People of Iraq are just beautiful.
Iraqis are fucking amazing. Also, that you said the thing about Chilean protesters, like, are using the lasers. There's that. Like the
Yeah,
the
they
Hong
almost shot on a
Kongers.
helicopter.
Yeah, the
They
Hong
almost shot
Kongers
on a police
have
helicopter.
made an impact on protest politics.
They have. And all I know is there is definitely going to be a nothing will happen scenario.
The Chilean government has now agreed to hold a referendum.
and I think that people have like starting to reject it.
Don't forget that the Chilean people are still raiding churches for artifact and burning it. Then what was the thing? It's really funny that the Lebanese government offered a solution to the thing, and the protesters just said no. They just said no. Like, it's still going on, fellas. It's great. When protesters just say no to like things to placate them, it gives me life.
Oh yeah.
The fire is rising.
Shit. And we are so ready.
I mean, I'm waiting for Type 89.
Depends on what you
to
call
roll
ready.
down.
Because here's the thing I kind of want to talk about. I'm going to go on a little tangent here. And this is very targeted at the U.S., so, you know, looking at you Americans out there. And I'm sure this applies to some extent, well, to Europe as a whole in general. To varying degrees, whatever.
Well, before you do that, Senna, I'm going to let everybody know that the Shonen Ronin are holding a anime stream, so I will be on that. So if you guys, so it's been fun, everybody. I will see you all next Saturday.
All
what
right,
little
see you,
time there is.
Pac-Man.
Alright, see ya.
Goodbye.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say this. At least in the US, and probably in a few other places too, the left is not prepared for when this kind of chaos comes to us. And it will. It is coming.
Yes.
The writing's on the wall. It's been for a while. Fascists are getting bolder and bolder. People of all sorts of minority groups are having all kinds of violence committed against them. They are going missing. They are being killed. They are being beaten up. They are being raped and all this other horrible shit. And when we're talking about, you know, like LGBT people, the homeless, people of color, all this other stuff, American society at large does not care about any of these groups.
Right.
They just don't give a shit. Which police put the minimal effort to find anyone who's done anything and will only try if they have to for performative reasons. And
Right.
even then, they put a lot more work into making it look like they're working on it than, you know, actually
Right.
working on it. Because police are not our friends. They're not here to protect us. They're only here to protect capital.
They're here to protect
They do not
property
care
rights
about people.
and nothing else.
Yes, exactly. And they're absolutely willing to beat, break, and fucking destroy anyone who gets in the way of that.
Yes, the cops.
To some extent, our existence does that.
Yeah, no cops are our
especially when we
allies.
get-
I don't care if they're a quote-unquote good cop, a bad cop, fuck them. I don't give a shit.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Now, the U.S. is not prepared for this. The U.S. left.
What we
We are
need,
absolutely not.
What we need.
We need a
is-
lot of things.
Yeah,
We need
we need a red, white, and blue scare.
oh, yes.
Yes.
And we need more than that. The people that are already radicals right now, the people who are actually, especially if you are in a position to have any kind of meaningful effect. I'm not meaning this to, like, shade in a position where they, like, cannot do anything, like, you know, if you're stuck with abusive family or have medical issues or all kinds of other stuff that could prevent you from doing things, but you need to organize. And when I say organize, I don't mean just say some things on Twitter and attend a protest or something. No, I mean start working on solutions. We need to start building the infrastructure to sustain ourselves for when this whole fucking system collapses around us, or at least bars us out now. Because that's going to happen. And if we are not prepared for that, we will get butt fucked. Real bad.
Not in the fun kind either.
Yeah.
God damn it, I love you. But yes,
See,
like, here's the thing. Fascists are getting more and more violent. They're more and more open about it, and less is being done about them.
I mean, yeah, I mean, look at the fucking Richard Spencer, like, leaked audio.
Oh, yeah. This guy is straight up fucking proclaiming literal race war now shit like that. It's insane. And this is a common growing sentiment amongst them, and it is getting stronger, and they're sticking their toes in the water, and they're realizing there's no opposition. The water's just fine. They're going to start diving in. Now, we need to start preparing ourselves to fight back and defend those in our communities, especially those who are already the most susceptible and vulnerable to this violence. We need to start looking out for each other. We need to prepare to sustain ourselves. We need to be doing all of this, like, right.
And don't forget.
And it's just not
either.
happening. No one talks about it.
And we shouldn't
No
stop.
one says or does anything.
And we shouldn't stop at just mere anti-fascism. We have to go further than that into outright anti-capitalism, because otherwise, then we're gonna placate the capitalists, and they'll be fine. Because honestly,
They will make.
all
they will
we'll
make
get is
money on
yeah,
absolutely everything.
they'll co-opt it to some degree.
Capitalists are the food that fascists feed off of. We will never see an end to fascists without an end to capitalism. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And here's the thing. I see a lot of people on the left who, like, make a really big deal about participating in electoral politics. And I'm not saying that you can't potentially do damage control by, you know, voting for whoever the most left-wing person you can throw your vote at is. I'm just saying it will not do an incredible amount, and do not dare let doing that, which is the absolute bare minimum, if at all possible, do not let that placate you into thinking you're actually achieving much by that, because you are not. That will not save us. That will not do anything. And here's the thing. It's not going to work 10 years down the road. I guarantee you that. Our elections are already gerrymandered to hell, you know, in favor of conservative parties and stuff like that. It's just, this is not going to want to do more. We need to do better. We need to start planning that out and thinking about right fucking now. We should have been doing that yesterday.
Exactly. We
And
have to.
say
We have
this?
to.
If things do not shape the fuck up right now, we're looking at a situation where when things do hit the fan in the U.S., when the chaos finally comes at all, we're not going to be prepared. The U.S. left is going to be absolutely fucking decimated, and will have no hope for success without outside support once those areas have finished their conquests, and that's going to be a very long fucking time.
What people need to
Have something
do
to do with it.
is actually read Marx. And not view things, and I mean read the less economic pieces and the more Civil War in France type shit.
In that
Yes.
case,
That's the useful stuff.
in that case, read Luxembourg, because she's
Yeah.
easier to understand.
Yeah, Luxembourg
is more
Marx
coherent
makes my brain start turning into liquid mush
read
coming out my ears.
read Luxembourg, read Pennacook, read Lenin, read all these people that are actually good for these things. Don't just read and there's a it's laudable and it's good that you read, say, Wage, Labor, and Capital, because you can't divorce the two. You cannot divorce economic theory and political praxis theory, because otherwise you're getting
But that
one
also
and not
goes
the
the other
other.
way around.
Exactly.
Can't
You can't divorce one from the other, and you can't divorce the other from the one. You have to be good in both.
See,
And here's the thing. Yes, reading this stuff is good, becoming informed on it is good, but don't stop at reading. Oh my god, I've seen so many people who are, I read all of these books, so I know what I'm talking about. And it's like, what do? I have a Discord server for debates, and I fight people on Twitter all day. It's like, great. It doesn't matter how much you know at that point, because you're fucking useless. You do jack shit.
And I think you're just as useless if you've never picked up a book and all you do is go punch somebody.
and see, we need to do what the fascists have been able to do for years properly, and that's read the room, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, use the mood of the people to influence, like, actions and things that happen. Because, I can tell you right now, no matter how rotten the society the US is, at the core of it, most people find the thought of murdering that many people just because ideology distasteful.
Yeah.
Yes, people need to be primed and groomed to like or even accept stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even Americans, who I would argue tend to have a conditioned issue with sociopathy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not as in they're gay or whatever. I mean, straight up, the way American society is and the way it functions, down to our fucking school systems, indoctrinates us to be that way. It is purposeful. It is by design. Because a people who does not care about their fellow man will not act when their fellow man is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want. They want that sort of complacency where you really only care about yourself, and you certainly don't do too much to help other people other than the paltry, I donated $5 to this charity that, turns out they actually only have the bare minimum 5% of the stuff they get go towards charitable causes, which is the thing that legally allows them to be considered a charity. Charity's a whole thing. I could get into it. It's not that it's inherently bad, but my god, do better.
Most of it's scam, basically.
Oh yeah,
charity,
a lot of it's really
charity
scammy.
is a slam. Charity is a scam. For the most
It's
part.
Slam.
Slam jam. Welcome
Come
to the
on,
jam.
Slam.
Welcome to the jam.
Welcome to the...
Can we slam jam the capitalist, please?
No, but something I wanted to say. This is something that I've seen people disregard because they want to be but the thing is, humans are empathetic when you get down to the wire, if you get to someone before ideology gets to them, as people would say, people will side to the core. When people do not have an ideology, when people have no experience with the world.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna do a meme here. Human nature, to an extent, is that we are pack animals. We live together in groups, and we protect each other.
We live in a society.
Mm-hmm.
And packs don't murder each other. That's one of the fundamental principles of social structure. Cooperation. That's what society's based upon.
Yes. Rather, the way we the way capitalism has caused us to structure society raises us into accepting that it's about competition and being, once again, groomed into that sort of mindset that is not how we naturally are. I can speak to this from my experiences when I was a kid. Like, I grew up in a very conservative family, and they were a lot more radically so, I'd say, than they are now. Like, they've mellowed out, at least on the nasty, vile shit. I mean, they're still completely obliterated by ideology. There is no saving their boomer brains from this,
Right.
but they're not being like, well, you know, we can't let gay people get married because that will let people marry animals and children. And it's just like, excuse me, what?
One thing.
Other shit like that, where it's like, crime statistics say, you get where I'm going with that. But
one thing.
I remember as a kid, like, I ended up gravitating towards more liberal ideas because there's at least the facade of caring about people.
What were you saying, Step?
I was gonna say that.
Middle of that.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I thought you were done with it for a second.
Yeah, no. And it's like, I just kind of gravitated to that because I was like, well, no, we should care about people. We should, try and do something if there's a problem. And whenever I'd say that sort of thing around my parents, they'd always have this justification for why that's actually bad. And, it was either, doing the thing that would help them actually doesn't help them at all because logic. Or it was like, well, these people kind of deserve the situation they're in, so they don't really need our help. They need to pull themselves up and learn from their mistakes. That kind of shit. Yes!
The
for a while there, because I was a young kid, I just kind of accepted this stuff, and then, as I got older and I started looking into this a little more carefully, it's like, no, that's bullshit. What the fuck? No. And then I became a very begrudging liberal, because I was like, oh, well, there's no real other alternative to this, is there? And then I'm like, wait a second, no, there is. We need to throw out the fucking system.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm here.
What I was going to say, though... Oh, go ahead.
That reminds me of a fucking meme that, union organizers from my old city made. Which is just like, it's a parody of like a fucking joke book cover, and it's like, poverty is always self-manufactured, and 78 other hilarious jokes you can tell yourself as you starve to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say though is, I opened up Twitter just now to check it because I got a notification. And I look at the search thing, and like the third trending thing is hashtag resign now Trump. Remember, everybody, he's not the problem. He's a symptom of the problem, which is capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's certainly not helping anything, and I'd be glad to see him go, but this isn't gonna fix anything.
Yeah.
Important distinction, of course, yeah. That doesn't mean I don't want to see him go. I'd find it absolutely hilarious if he get impeached like 4 months before the election.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
I'd love that.
That'd be a meme.
But then again, think about the mobilization on the other side that would come from it.
Oh yeah. Like that's the other side of this coin that a lot of, people who are like really pro-electoral politics and like treat it as a bigger thing than we should. They don't take into account the fact that at this point, the right is a fucking bottle of fucking, what's it called? If you shake it too much, it'll blow up.
Oh,
whatever that is.
Like a shaken up can of soda.
That'll work.
Like a champagne bottle of
That'll do. Glycerin, nitroglycerin. They're like a huge bottle of that. You shake that too much, it's gonna cause problems. And this will shake it. What'll shake it even more is if we get someone like Bernie Sanders in, because, like, here's the thing. There may be some immediate benefit to that, assuming he has enough support from other people in office to actually get it through, because gridlock is a huge issue in the U.S. Even if we assume that, you're only going to have a year tops, I would say, of that before something really bad happens. because these people are serious. They are willing to kill politicians if they have to. They are willing to start staging a coup, and I'm willing to bet a lot of state forces would back them 100%. We're talking police, we're talking military. They would have that aid.
Right.
So basically, at this point, that kind of issue going on is inevitable. It's just a matter of when and what exactly sparks it, and
right.
that's not beyond just a couple scenarios. Yeah, something like this will probably.
The correct strategy would be to either ignore or avoid like electoral escalation, basically. So like keep like dipshit lips in power and build up for this scenario. Basically, delay the confrontation until we are stronger. I think that is the correct approach.
Yeah, though I would argue that, like, actual leftists in the US don't really have enough in numbers or
Influence.
the ability for their voices to be heard. There's just not enough influence. We can't change that. But I am seeing an increasing amount of, like, your liberals getting some sock dem tendencies. And they're taking the bait for this. They want that because they're starting to get upset. Now, what I'm saying is we probably don't have a lot of time to prepare. We've probably got till around the next election cycle before things really start to get bad.
Before they start
because
to.
This is going... Yeah, I mean bad in a way that's going to, like, seriously disrupt further efforts to get our shit together. Because that is coming. If we don't do that now, it's going to get a lot harder, and yeah.
Things are just going to keep getting worse.
And honestly, I find that by a lot of leftists entertaining electoral politics in the way that they do, we waste the energy on that when we could instead raise it on presenting the alternatives that we supposedly have. Which I'd argue is much more useful. We need more people on our side.
To kind of paraphrase Zizek, no matter what you think of him, he's right about this. The left has to offer the alternative.
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't offer the alternative in 2008. We have to offer the alternative now.
This is probably our last chance to do that, if I'm going to be fucking honest.
Very candid about it. We have to offer the alternative, and if we don't, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And other thing, a lot of people are like talking about SOCDEMs and people becoming SOCDEMs, and it like being like a pipeline or like a good thing. Like, what my take is, tolerate the SOCDEMs, but if they try to like
pull some shit,
pull some shit, just like basically we need to do to the SOCDEM what the neo-Nazis are currently doing to Charlie Kirk. Have them on a leash. Have them on a leash and use them, but never let them outgrow you. Always put them down when they start getting ideas.
Only bro in the chat. Only bro 555 in the chat saying we are doomed.
Don't let Rosa Killers come back.
Don't fall into doomer bullshit. Doomerism is a disease. Stop being doomers. Doomerism is a fucking disease.
See, what we gotta do is what the Nazis thought the communists were doing, which is control the Social Democrats.
Yes.
Which, I'll be honest, you probably have a much better position to do that in the US than we have here. Which is mainly because our movements are like proprietarily.
Yeah, if people started playing their cards right, I could definitely see us getting at least start sort of shaping, the conversations people are having. But right now, I don't think the US left can do that. I have zero fucking hope for them because, no, they'd rather be like, oh, well, if you watched a video from my favorite bread tuber, I mean, sure, they defend rapists and are proud for those what they're saying for these Patreon dollars from us, but, they're really cool. They have really pretty videos.
Yeah, because BreadTube is a lot of aesthetics over the actual content.
Oh yeah, it's a sham, and so many people have taken the bait for that. And it's hit a point where anyone who does say something bad about them are kind of a minority amongst general left communities at this point, and usually get a lot of vitriol if they, dare to talk about it.
Kill the Easter in your head.
Kill the E-Slab in your head.
Yeah.
Yes. What were you saying though, Theo?
Dip-Dap, are you saying that ContraPoint is Kautsky?
ContraPoint is Kautsky.
Okay.
The Renegade Contra. The Renegade Contra.
God.
Fuck Kautsky, seriously.
Fuck
I'm
Kautsky.
convinced half the reason we're still here is because of Kautsky.
Kautsky was the
other
largest
half?
influence on
The other half
Czech.
is the failed advance into Poland by the Red Army right after the revolution that was going to go help the Germans.
Yeah. By the way, Kautsky is one of the largest influence on Czech MLs, despite them denying it.
Epic.
Oh god.
I love Liebknecht's roast of Kautsky, where he just
laid waste.
Liebknecht was an absolute G. Just saying.
Really yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to say to engagement with politics, local politics, the most blatantly corrupt section of politics that is the closest to the people, that the people the least care about, and you have the largest influence. If you get few people to care about like local politics and have some alternatives to like basically everything being like capitalists in their local politics, you can shape the discourse because it helps. And if you are successful, you can build power base. You can build like a revolutionary base if you manage to like basically like steer local politics in few cities for long enough.
Yeah.
You can build stronghold.
What leftists need to start doing, especially in places like the US, is start being a local voice. Like, get involved, present alternatives. Yes. Do good things. And fucking also try to have a little bit of tact, for fuck's sake. Don't go up and be like, you see, this is why we should recreate the USSR in Bakersfield.
Yeah,
like,
whatever you think of Vosh, his thing on rhetoric his video on rhetoric is very good. Learn rhetoric, please. Read the room, understand what situation you're in. It's not a good idea to go about saying like shit that people aren't gonna be okay with, because don't lie to people, but don't be like, I want to whatever, like create a new like terrible
don't
party
lie, but make your shit presentable, for the love of God.
Please actually fucking like
Think
read
before you speak.
Interact with humans.
The first thing is read. The second thing is read Aristotle's On Rhetoric, please.
See, secondly, I do believe that one of the big opportunities in America is the resurgence of industrial unionism, especially in the Midwest.
Yes.
Oh yes, another great opportunity. Guns! Especially in your red states. Oh my god, get guns!
Get more than one and get a lot of bullets. Now remember, EML does not advocate violence, but it's just for self-defense.
We don't advocate violence. We just advocate the hobby of collecting guns and ammunition and hoarding them away for, the alien apocalypse, because that's what's going to happen, definitely.
Actually not. Read Posadas.
Read Posadas, those are good aliens. Those are our brothers.
Yeah.
Speaking of Posadas, watch the video I made on this channel this week. It was very good. Because it's the end of the world as we know it, fellas. It's happening soon.
Play on the history button.
We hit play.
In the kind of a transition to like Vertis on Fire, actually the Neo-Zapatistas also believe in like having alien comrades, which is why they call their meetings intergalactic meetings. And also the Mexican government has recently been defeated by the cartels.
Oh my god.
No, but one last thing I want to say about that. Specifically, the thing about industrial unionism and why it's so hard to exterminate, like, permanently, even in a place like the US, is that it's possible wherever people work. You can't exactly get rid of work in capitalism. So-
The ghost of Eugene Debs is haunting the
Yeah.
American workplace.
Yeah.
And for as long as people work, people can get together and, well, and with such huge corporations that now exist in the US, this is getting like easier and easier. Again, like there were different reasons why it was easy in the 1890s, and now it's easy for different reasons than it was then.
Also,
it's-
communications are a lot easier now than they were ever before, actually.
Yeah,
yeah.
Savan DePaul in the chat. White people in PSL have been on some fuck shit. Oh my god, white PSL people get mad at me on Twitter because I talk about how terrible China is. They're so stupid.
They're literally like the most Orientalist kind of people
They
you
are
could ever run
extremely
into.
Orientalist.
It's
They're idiots.
No, but by the way, GM strike still going on.
Ooh.
yes.
It's been a month
And the
now.
media is not talking about it at all. I wonder why.
That this is
There's one thing. It cost GM over almost $3 billion.
Fuck yeah.
that's a lot.
Fuck yeah.
See,
That's a lot of money.
yeah, about how many? 300 people? Wrecked a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
They got
This is
owned.
the kind of power we have. We just have to fucking use it.
They got owned. GM gets owned.
Another thing with the media and with the basically media blackout on any worker activity, which happens everywhere, we need union media. If you are in like a union or like suggest that, because that's one of the things that they did in Bolivia. They have union radio stations and they have like union television segments. I think that
Proletarian
is so
Guard in the
good
chat.
idea.
Bernie's good on domestic issues. He doesn't want to abolish ICE though. He still
Yeah.
wants to maintain these terrible things.
He wants to maintain them. He just wants to turn them into something a little less ugly on the surface.
Yeah, he just
polishing.
what he wants is a diverse ICE.
Mm-hmm.
Diverse ICE, but with women and Hispanics that
Minorities.
are like only like a quarter Hispanic.
More female genocidal maniacs!
Yes.
I mean, we
Look at you, Indonesia.
On that note, Central European riot tactics.
Ooh.
What should we go on for there?
Let's get some shit. What's going on?
Well, you see, it's easy here and in Germany because we have a long tradition. Well, right, and you see these nascent anti-fascist groups in America are struggling not just because of the culture there, but also because of their inexperience. See, anti-fascist groups in Central and Southern Europe are like fucking ghosts. They're phantoms. Like, you don't know where they are, you don't know who they are, and then someone tries to, like, march onto a refugee home, and suddenly 500 of them just show up out of nowhere. They go there, they repel the fascists, and they disperse. Phantoms. They come to places, they hold their rallies, and then they disappear into the crowds. Untraceable. But we have an advantage that you do not have in the US, and that's ubiquity. That's the fact that the people at these riots aren't the hardliners. Because we've learned how to pull the general public with us into these marches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's by, well, normalizing marches like, let's use an American example. Just any organization, any sort of like place where you can get together, like protest for something, because you can have your radical like elements in shit like pride marches, in shit like the women's march. You can have your little radical corners in there, but because the cops can't just come in and bust it all up because, well, they have to go through the general populace to do that. They can't do that. Just like in Austria, they can't just break us up because we're so intertwined with the general populace. And they can't just... See, the NYPD can't just shoot all of New York.
Speaking of New York, they're doing that thing where they're gonna all protest the subway bullshit. They're gonna all jump the fucking thing soon.
They already did that, and it's really good.
Nice.
Epic.
They recently installed like cameras above like the subway toll, like the things that you go through, and people have it back. They are on a stick. They are on a stick that sticks down. Mm-hmm. So it's basically a piñata. Like people are smashing them.
That is the dumbest way to install a security camera.
Exactly my thinking.
Yes, but my point being, like, if you install radical elements to these sorts of, to general marches, help organize those and have your little black blocs or like anarchist sections in these rallies. Because today, the police couldn't just break up a pride march. There will be huge outcry. They can, try to suppress whatever corners in there, but even that's just going to agitate the rest of them. And that's a good tactic, because it changes the people who go there, and at this point, normal everyday people go to things like the Pride March, the Women's March.
Yeah.
It changes people's perception of the cops and of the system, no matter whether they get actually actively suppressed. So that's what people should start.
When they see the cops threatening a part of their protest, that's gonna have an effect, and if that keeps happening, eventually you're gonna get an anti-cop sentiment. That's very, very
We need to return to fucking Stonewall era fuck cops shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another thing, doing public protests with a very tiny amount of people that is very dedicated, not a good idea. What you will end up with is everyone is going to be on camera, everyone will be unidentifiable, and you will have SID agents inserted. They are kind of easy to tell, but they are still annoying.
That's the best case scenario. Honestly, in some places in the U.S., I'd say, because there's a good chance you guys will all get fucking brutalized.
Disappear. Yeah.
Yeah. See, do what we had to do, which is don't formalize your organizations when we're talking about just going on rally. Don't formalize your organization. Have a fucking chat group where it's let's go there, see what's up. You know what you're gonna do, but don't formalize it. Don't make it this big. Don't LARP. Don't be a LARPer.
Also, don't inform the cops of your protest.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh yeah.
By the way, this happened in Czech Republic. There was an anti-Turkish invasion of Rojava protest, and the amount of secret police to the protesters was 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
But this is what I'm saying. If you attach yourself to another protest, there's already a licensed a liberal protest of some kind, to go to a fucking climate protest, right? You attach yourself to that protest, you already have a licensed sort of thing going on with a lot of people already there. Have your little corner where you wave your flags, you do your shit, you do your black bloc, whatever. The cops can't go against you without going against the others, but they can't go against just the... It's a good survivability fucking tactic, and a good building tactic, because the people that go to these protests are people that you can assume care to an extent.
Right.
They will see what you're doing. They will see you, and they probably will see the cops going after them. That, as I said, changes someone's perception of society. So leftists, not just in America, everywhere, go attach yourself to climate protests. Go attach yourself to fucking pride marches. Go attach yourself to all of those social rallies that happen. Attach yourself to them and make your own points there.
Right.
Some leftists and like communists have been actually doing this in Russia. In like they insert themselves in anti-government rallies and they like make different points than the liberals.
Yeah, we do the same here, and do it
Yeah.
in Germany, and in Britain even, to a lesser extent. But I think that's because that's a way where the cops can't go after you without the general public being agitated by it. So, one of two things happens. Either you're fine, and you helped, raise a bit of trouble,
Spread the word and
It's good.
such.
or you create mass agitation and, get a lot of people aware of what's happening. Either way, even if you lose, they lose no matter what. If they go make you lose, they lose even harder.
Mhm.
Sure, they could start with full-on blood repression, but that would just make people even more angry.
Yeah,
Like-
and they mostly don't have that enough people to
Yeah.
like pull that off.
Oh, yeah, even in the US, like fucking...
Imagine like being in the US and inserting yourself in like some innocuous like social gathering, and the police trying to
Hell
go
yeah.
after you, and then if it's like a sudden state, the police tries to go in and like someone, you know how it happens, someone fires a shot and then no one knows how, and then just like all the people that like
Oh,
have
yeah.
licensed weapon just go off.
I'm sorry, Königsmark, are you saying we should Kiev them?
What?
Are you saying we should Kiev them?
What
Well,
do you
in
mean?
Kiev, where the riots were escalated on both sides.
I mean, there is a point in that tactic in particular situation, but I would
Oh.
generally not recommend. Also,
Yeah,
no, does not endorse
It's a
violence.
It's a joke, mostly.
Yeah.
See, look at like how fucking huge shit like the New York Pride March is.
Mm.
Like about 100,000 people every year.
Oh yeah.
That if shit like that ever goes hot, New York's on fire and it will stay on fire.
It's going to be like the end scene of the Joker, basically.
Like, the thing. That's something we can do. Go to these little things. Be a communist there, just like communists did in the run-up and during the First World War. Attach themselves to anti-war rallies, and spread their messages there.
Well, we've been going on for like
Apologies for my dog.
over an hour and a half now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to wrap up or do we want to go long tonight?
I mean, do we have anything else to talk about?
Anyone?
I mean-
Well, New York.
Do you know
Ah,
anything?
yes.
Yeah.
New York is a
Well,
place that exists, indeed.
Like, the fucking New York NYPD started doing fucking real... And the city's mad about it. Like,
Ooh.
people are angry! And New York is, and I am quoting, hold on, let me find the actual quote. I am quoting the Chief of Police, NYPD. The recent developments have pushed New York to be a, and I quote, powder keg ready to go off in a riot.
Ooh. Please? Please?
can we arrive?
Please, can we riot? Please?
And New York's big. Couldn't keep Hong Kong down. Like, you really think you could suppress a mass riot in the most, like, media publicized city in the world?
Not only that, but the place with the most potential for urban fucking warfare.
Yeah.
Not just also.
Well,
Also,
imagine if like guns from upstate New York started to like flow in.
The gangs already have the guns.
Yeah.
What's the fucking
Also,
bloods in the
listen-
no? Because the gangs have united against the police before. Let's do it
This is
again.
the cool thing about New York. New York has strong unions, a really strong queer movement at this point, and See, the gangs in New York have a historic tendency to ally with union movements against
including each other against police.
I just read.
My understanding, the gangs have fought the police together before.
Yeah.
Just like in Mexico.
Okay, as soon as you guys are done with this, I have something to read that will upset Dip Dap incredibly because it is
God.
the dumbest thing I think I've seen all week.
Okay,
I just want to finish this tangent off with
Go ahead. Go ahead.
there's an image of Al Capone marching with the IWW against the New York National Guard. That's what we want to get back to.
All right, now what we gonna now let me hear the thing that's gonna make me cry.
I'm gonna read it very dramatically.
Oh
Oh,
God.
So, get ready. It's gonna be great. I have a theory about China. I'm likely wrong. It seems to me that the CCP has determined that they need to go through an imperialist, capitalist development phase to trigger an uprising amongst its people to further develop socialism. It is pretty consistent with Mao.
Okay, whoa.
the chess.
Okay, can you read that second that second little part of it? I'm probably what? Can you read that?
I'm likely wrong.
Yeah, because
It
you're
seems
fucking
to me
wrong, dumb piece of shit.
CCP.
Holy shit! What the fuck? No! Dumb motherfucker! Stupid piece of shit! Literal brainlet. Void brain. Person without fucking sentient. Like, this person is not sentient. This is a bloodworm. It's like an earthworm that got on a computer and it's like, fucking dumb piece of shit. Doesn't have a fucking brain. This person is not alive.
You are.
This is
Half of the
basic-
reason I said anything about what I just saw was because I wanted to see that reaction, and I got what I
the
wanted.
Chinese Communist Party has been corrupt since almost its inception. The only genuine communist at the beginning of the CCP was Chen Duxiu. I'm not a Trotskyist, but he was the only one. He wasn't even a Trotskyist. He just aligned with Trotsky against, like, Stalin's Orientalist bullshit, being like, you see, China is a feudal nation. It wasn't feudalist. It was semi-feudal capitalism. No, Trotsky
Just
was...
like Russia.
Yeah, no, it was like Russia. It's not like fucking Russia needed to go through a fucking national revolution.
Yeah, okay, this is something that pisses me the fuck off, because, see, as someone who has read a bit of Marx, let's say, when Marx says historical phase of capitalism, he doesn't mean that every society has to go through capitalism in order to get to a socialist system. What he was talking about is that there are periods of development in a grand historical context. He was
Yes.
talking about like some kind of fucking level up system.
because
can
all
fuck
countries are connected.
I've seen
This is-
so many people who think you need to go through the stages, which are largely just an observation of what
Happened.
European countries.
Stalin's takes on
went
China
through.
are literal pee-pee poo-poo brain. Like, I'm sorry, but like the Stalin's takes on China are pee-pee poo-poo brain. I'm not a Trotskyist, but Trotsky had better takes on China.
Not
I like
hard,
how
but-
this is the I'm not a Trotskyist but
Yeah,
segment.
I'm not a
No.
Trotskyist, but he actually knew what he was talking about when it came to China because he was friends with
See-
Chen Duxiu.
See, say what about Trotsky was what you want, but at least he was a communist.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Trotsky,
At least
we have to distinguish
He
Trotsky
was a
and
dipshit.
Trotskyists.
Yeah, he was a dipshit, but at least he was a communist.
Trotsky was kinda he was a dipshit, but the
Sometimes.
fandom is just absolutely cancerous. Sorry to
Yeah.
disappoint.
The Phantom.
Yeah, no.
Trotsky has said a handful of vaguely useful things, and the rest is just
his stuff
very
is-
obnoxious, and his fans, I guess, is the best way to call them, are borderline cultish.
Grigory Mayakovsky.
Oh, God.
Grigory Mayakovsky, one of the people that was part of the workers' opposition against the NEP, was he was detained in the Soviet Union and then murdered because he talked to Trotsky in Turkey. And he's like, I didn't talk to Trotsky about politics. What the fuck are you talking about? He's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking asshole. I asked him for money, and then and then the fucking secret police killed him. But yeah, like why did you meet with Trotsky? Why did you meet with Trotsky? And he's like, I asked for money because I needed money. He even made the statement, Trotsky's a bit of an asshole, but I needed money.
Fair.
No, I think what we were talking about earlier is actually something that which is brought up in the segment of The Revolution Betrayed where Trotsky makes fun of Karl Radek.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait. Do you know the joke? The very specific Karl Radek joke?
I'm sure you've told me before.
Okay, there's 3 men in a gulag. Okay? The first one turns to the second one. Why are you in here? The second man says, I critiqued Karl Radek. The first man says, oh no, how can you be here? I supported Karl Radek. Right? They turn to the third man, they're both like, but who are you? He looks up, I am Karl Radek.
You see, no, but in the second where he makes fun of Karl Radek, Trotsky says, and I'm paraphrasing here, see, Marx wasn't saying that every fucking country had to go through capitalism in order to get to socialism. Marx was simply making an observation about the general development.
It's a general statement.
Of the general development of European society, and he states very clearly that he is talking about European and to a lesser extent Asian society. He wasn't making the statement that this is some kind of
rule.
Like a level up system for nations.
Now, I'm going to say, some of the things that Mark said about Asia are wrong. Well, but I expect that from a German
but they're not
man.
maliciously so.
They're not. You know, he's not making value judgments racially about Asian people. He's making an analysis based on
the information available.
That was available that wasn't very good. It was the information that was available to this man was not very good. On
the other hand,
I think he actually said like that, where he basically said to I forget who it was. I think it was actually someone from like Turkey, where he was like asking Marx for advice on something, and Marx basically said, "Look, I don't know a lot about like Turkey, so I can't really help you there. So you'll have to make your own observations there."
Right.
On the other hand, a lot of the stuff that Marx said about like Slavic people was kind of racist.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Some things though. I talked about the CCP a minute ago, so how it was like basically terrible from the start. Is most of them were social chauvinists and like really didn't like Manchu people, not just because they were like the rulers, but because they were Manchus. A lot of them were also ultra nationalists. So Chen Duxiu was an actual communist. He was pretty good, despite being a Trotskyist. He wasn't a modern day Trotskyist.
Yeah, he was. I actually more describe him as a proto-Trotskyist.
Yes, he was a proto-Trotskyist.
He just happened to have similar opinions as Trotsky
in the 1930s. Yeah. But then there's like Li Dajiao, the man that was like the ideological precursor to Mao Zedong, because he was Mao Zedong. Like Mao Zedong was Li Dajiao's library assistant at the University of Beijing. Li Dajiao went through 3 ideological phases. He was a populist around about until 1917, and he saw the Soviets, and opportunistically for about 2.5 years became a communist. Right? But then around 1922, I think, somewhere between 1922 and 1924, he went back to being an ultra-nationalist, and then he was still in the Communist Party, and he was the first communist to join the Kuomintang during the First United Front. And
Please
social
don't mind my dog.
and Socialism Bar's soccer bar in the chat says I'm going to lose social credit points. You're assuming I have any right now. I've said on stream that I would strangle Xi Jinping. Like, I'm pretty sure I don't have them.
I would watch that.
I'm gonna lose my human rights because I've lost all my social credit points.
See, Dip Down
Can't lose what you don't have.
He is Mao's wife. I think you know what I mean, Dip Dab.
Wait, which one? Which one?
The one that got basically
prisoned and then killed herself in jail.
Yeah.
Because she was in the Gang of Four.
She was in the gang.
The gang. She was gang. I like people act. Even Stalin called Mao a nationalist, which is like, bruh. Stalin was quite literally a great Russian chauvinist. Like, come on, come on.
Like,
I guess you could say Stalin posted cringe.
No. He was right. He was right, but he was also a hypocrite.
See,
yeah. Then again, anything Stalin posts is cringe. So
I know we talk a lot about Trotsky again, but something that Stalin just loved to take out of context was Trotsky's comments during the Georgian affair, where Stalin first just started to force Russian chauvinism back, like, you know, the old Tsarist plans back onto Georgia, where well, Trotsky basically made fun of the fact that he acts like a Russian, but he's not. Now he starts making everyone else Russian. And for the rest of Trotsky's life, Stalin has made that like, look, he's a racist. See, he hates Georgian people. No, he doesn't. You do.
Wait, are you saying that, that Stalin is the Candace Owens of Georgian people?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Like, the second that man got anywhere near power, he acted like he was a fucking Russian by birth and reenacted all of those good old Tsarist plans. And that was one of the big Stalin was a fucking vile racist. He never called Trotsky by his name. He just called him the Jew.
The Jew!
He just called him the Jew. See, this is actually why Lenin ended up sort of becoming the figurehead of the revolution, because Trotsky didn't want the anti-Semitic powers of the world uniting in riot, because, look,
a Jew.
There's a Jewish man in power.
The Jew.
This is... And he was right in that, because it happened from the inside with Stalin. The doctor's plot, anyone? Very poetic that ended up killing him. Now, we should talk Khrushchev a lot, but...
Khrushchev was correct on calling Mao like a national revanchist.
Yeah.
Which is
Khrushchev
extremely...
was a bit of a dickhead, but...
Khrushchev was like Stalin, but not so edgy, basically, but also more. It's weird.
Yeah, he did a few things that were like, wow, that's actually pretty neat, and then he was like, why do you do that? Although, he did stop Zhukov from starting World War III. Do you know about this?
Not
He
sure.
was doing 56, like when the Hungarians were having their little boogaloo.
Revolution.
So the Russians rolled in tanks, right?
Yeah.
Zhukov was like, you know what? Got an idea. We're gonna roll across the border into Vienna and take over Austria.
Okay. I'm gonna read you a quick thing from a thing that Stalin said that is really funny to me. It's the speech at celebration meeting of the Moscow Soviet of Working People's Deputies in Moscow Party and Public Organizations, November 6, 1941.
Oh boy.
Can the Hitlerites be considered as nationalists? No, they cannot. Actually, the Hitlerites are now not nationalists, but imperialists, as long as the Hitlerites were engaged in assembling the German lands and reuniting the Rhine district, Austria, etc., it was possible with a certain amount of foundation to call them nationalists. But after they seized foreign territories and enslaved European nations, the Czechs, Slovaks, Poles, Norwegians, Danes, Dutch, Belgians, French, Serbs, Greeks, Ukrainians, Belarusians, and the inhabitants of the Baltic countries, etc., and began to reach out for world domination, the Hitlerite Party ceased to be a nationalist party because from that moment it became an imperialist party, a party of annexation and oppression. Holy shit.
Mr. Stalin, you talk about the Baltic there. Those were Soviet territories just before and Poland. Say, how did you come into possession of those territories, Mr. Stalin? Where did you get your Latvia?
Where did you try to get yourself a Finland?
Where did Eastern Poland come into your possession?
How did you? What about those? So what about those Sami people in Murmansk?
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Where did 60% of Sami men in Murmansk go? Nothing happened. Where did the library with all the Sami literature go? Nothing happened. Where did all the books in Ukrainian go? Nothing happened.
Stalin was the most damaging thing that has ever happened
to the workers' movement ever.
Alongside Kautsky.
Kautsky and Stalin are the most damaging things that ever happened to the workers' movement.
Yeah, Kautsky created social liberalism and basically split the workers' movement. And Stalin created a legacy of bloodshed that will be used to hunt us until the end of time.
Yep.
Not really.
Read Gilas. Read Gilas, please.
It will be used to hunt us until we win, basically. Like, no one at this moment is wedging their fingers at liberalism using, like, the French Revolution as an example. Because like, they won.
They're in power.
Yeah. Please read Conversations with Stalin by Milovan Gilas.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah.
I love that book. I love that, like, where all the generals are sitting around and Konev is, like, defending Stalin, and then someone asks him, well, what exactly is Comrade Stalin doing? And Konev basically says, I don't know, but I'm sure it's a good thing that he's doing it. I don't know what he's doing.
That's like when you ask somebody, like, that's like when I asked, like, a liberal in 2014, like, what is Obama doing in this country? Like,
what is Obama?
He said, like, I don't know, but I'm sure it's good.
Conversations with Obama.
Conversations with Obama. No, like fellas. The thing is that. And then I'm like, what about that wedding he bombed? I should have said that if I knew about that at the time, but like, Christ. Hello?
Oh shit.
Oh boy. Sena's kaput.
We've been going for nearly 2 hours now. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Should we go ahead and, like, finish it up? Or...
Hello? Unbus, can you hear us?
Oh.
Weird.
Is it a sign?
Hello?
Hello?
Is it a sign? It might be a sign
Possibly.
to end.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh.
I think Sena's Discord might be done. Can you change server location so we can do a proper outro? Why are we in Russia?
I don't know.
Change it to, like, Central Europe.
Alright.
That one usually works fairly well for all of us. It's totally not Central European supremacy.
By the way, Theo, how is the Fringen thing going? Assembled government.
Alright, there we
what?
go.
In Thuringia, in Germany. Where there was like this big triumph of Die Linke.
Germany, not Austria.
I know, but you speak German, so you would know more than I.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah, because there is a big upswing of the Linke and also the big upswing in the AFD, which is kind of
things
scary.
are radicalizing. That's pretty.
Yeah, basically the only government they could form at this point, but because of the Social Democrats being there in that, is either the far left with the conservatives or the far right with the Social Democrats. Those are literally the only two governments that they have left to form. Because of the parties that they don't want to work, the parties don't want to work with the one that is on their side, but more radical.
Yeah.
This is what liberalism does too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this though. We are experiencing some very interesting lines that are being drawn in the sand. That was a wrong button that I clicked. No, but we are witnessing some very strange things happening. Like the Middle East is still on fire.
Hong Kong is still on fire.
Domestically now. Like, not as in, oh, haha, insurrection, but no, we're having civil riots. Which
we live in
haven't seen
interesting
decades.
times.
Yes.
Like, there has always been, like, insurrection in the Middle East, but can you think of the last time that there was actual civil uprising?
Well, for some of them, the Arab Spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing in Syria is still the Arab Spring.
Yeah, but let's see. So Hong Kong still on fire. Bolivia now on fire. Chile still on fire. Mexico catching fire.
Possibly.
Now I just want the fire to spread to America because America needs to be fucking balkanized.
You might get that because there have been forces. There has been opinions of the peeps of some people that the only way to fight the drug war is to use the war on terror, but in Mexico against the cartels. You know what that would do? That would immediately turn the drug.
America to war with a bordering country, which it hasn't done since like the 1800s.
That would immediately turn the cartels into a guerrilla movement against.
Right. They're
America.
in the U.S. They're in the U.S.
Yes.
Some of them sit in office.
Yeah.
A lot of them have people in the Mexican army.
Another thing is,
I was actually talking about the CIA, but
yeah. Well, we've been going on for the 2-hour mark now, so I guess we should go ahead and
we should
wrap it up. So this has been Evening with Comrades with Senna in absentia, Theo, Koenigs Mark,
my profile picture is Donald Duck with erection. I'm a disgrace.
and also Pac-Man in absentia. This has been DipDap, and we'll see you all next week.
yeah.